Hey there, church. I'm making the video while walking Strider today because he is overheated and cranky and is not really allowing me to make the video, and it's not time for him to go in his crate. Part of the reason he's overheated is that he's still, well, he doesn't like hot weather in general, but he's still losing his winter coat. You can see some of this fur down on the ground here. It looks kind of like snow. He's He blows his coat twice a year, and this one, losing the winter coat, is the really big one. It just comes out in chunks. Last night I was plucking his hips and some of that came out. We are in this wonderful season transition right now. Come on, Strider, shall we walk? Where we spend more time outside. Finally, we're getting some baseball games in. Earlier, I guess yesterday, I saw a couple of guys parked out in front of the pavilion and just taking up one of the benches, and they were talking for a while. And I thought, you know, how wonderful is that there's some people in our community. I really don't think these were people who were part of the church, but people in the community that feel like this is a space for them to come and connect. I don't know what kind of conversation they were having, but it was my sense that it was one of those discussions that somehow got at the depths of life. And for sure, there are people who come to our church every week and get at stuff in life that has been holding them back or grinding them down, or have felt like they are just stuck. I think most of these guys who come, they don't feel like they are part of the church in a way that some of us who are watching the video might feel like they are part of the church. But this space is a healing and liberating space for them. Hey, even as I'm recording this video, one of our neighbors on Lincoln is out taking a walk. I see him from time to time. His wife comes and she was here earlier this morning running a loop around the parking lot before heading down 306. Our imagination of the church can sometimes be too insular, I think. We think about church as the people who gather for worship on Sunday mornings and maybe take part in groups and studies and give, but I think it's a lot more than that. When God looks at this congregation, I don't think God sees just people who are on attendance lists and membership rolls. I think God sees much bigger than that, and sees guys who come here weekly as they live in recovery as part of what it means to be church. I think God looks at our neighbors and people who experience the blessings of enjoying the space that we have here as part of the church. These days in the church, we are really being forced by the kind of world that we're living in to reimagine what church means to us, how we embody a ministry as the church. And I think, there are a lot of struggles with this for sure, but I think that the Holy Spirit is at work in the church, asking us to have a more expansive imagination of what it means to be the church connected to the world around us. This is a lot of what Jesus did. Jesus had a hugely expansive ministry in relation to what a lot of folks in his day thought it meant to be the people of Israel. This is what got him into a lot of trouble with folks, but it's also what drew people to him in a lot of ways. So this is all kind of rambling as Strider rambles and catches the fresh scents here on a springtime day. But I think this is some of how God is alive and nourishing the church in fresh ways, giving us something of a fresh scent of what it means to detect and to follow God's lead, what it means to be the aroma of Christ as the church in today's world. So church, as the world opens up with springtime, and as we open up our our hearts and minds in worship tomorrow, and as our groups gather for the ministries and the fellowship that we have grown accustomed to, let's also be open to how God is leading us to understand the church in fresh ways and lead lives as expansive as God's grace, as people loving God, sharing relationships, serving others from the heart of Christ.